He's putting the toner in. Only the best toner for you, Stephanie. Apples, toilet brushes, butter, and rice. We will not be underpriced. Turn that frown upside down, because nobody does it better than Food Town. Worst place ever. Staff was friendly. I love the way he turns it around at the end. How is the staff friendly if you're sleeping in your car? I'm so confused. These are just what, team? Learning experience. What was that? I can't hear you. Learning opportunities.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.
So, continuing on with more spooky season.
Yes.
I would like I would like to say, if you haven't checked out, since we're all in the The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix, check it out.
Amazing.
It's scary. There's a few jump scares. There's a lot of grossness. There's a lot of murders. And they also managed to work in every episode a different work of Edgar Allan Poe.
It was really well done.
They did Murders in the Rue Morgue.
There's a lot of like spoiled Richie, Trumpy kind of people that you're kind of rooting for them to get killed anyway. So it's one of those kind of deals.
Yeah, it was really good.
You're like, oh, we got murdered. Oh well. More fish anymore?
Black cat. There's a murderous black cat. Who can't get behind that? They worked.
The way they did the pit and the pendulum was great. The way they worked in the Telltale Heart one, you've got to see that. It's incredible. Yeah.
So.
And Murders in the Rue Morgue. Did a really good job with that one. No monkeying around. That's what I did there.
And I keep coming back to
it's about monkeys.
Our favorite poem, Annabelle Lee.
Yeah, they do.
We have an Annabelle Lee. She never comes down, but she's a calico. She's upset.
Well, she does come down and stink the joint up once in a while, but that's another story.
Anyway, that's also equally scary. But
I don't think we talked about the Wolves in the Throne Room show.
Oh my God. I've seen so many people that posted the same way I thought online. But anyway, let's start at the beginning before we get to Wolves in the Throne Room, because
Gaerea. We missed the first. What was the first band?
Hoaxed. Yeah, we got there too late.
We got there too late for Hoaxed.
So we're sorry, but we
sorry, Hoaxed. But Gaerea blew the roof off the joint. Wow,
that really got things going.
And with the hoods on, the singer looks a lot like Spider-Man.
He kind of has like a floaty
the way he was moving around. I mean, if you want, go to our Instagram. It's instagram.com/snaggletooth decay. And she live streamed a bunch of it, so you get to see his Spidey moves. But yeah, musically, they were fucking amazing.
And he's kind of tall and thin, and when he kind of does his dramatic movements, and he really knew how to get the crowd going too. He was great.
He does whatever a spider can.
He literally must have yelled the word Baltimore 30 times, and we were loving it.
He was the only one that did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were the only ones that did the kind of 1969. Let's get it going. Yeah.
Yeah, and they did. And then Blackbraid came. Now, Blackbraid were not talkers at all.
The singer for Blackbraid, I think, weighs 27 pounds. Yeah. I mean, he did nothing but just scream his lungs out. It was amazing.
And even in between songs, all you got was, Rah! That was it.
Yeah, they never addressed the crowd at all. It just ripped into one song after another. Blackbraid was every bit as good as we thought they were going to be.
Guitar playing was amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, wall of sound.
They may have even had some technical difficulties, we thought, with some of the props. Like they were trying to light something at one point that wouldn't light, but they went on with the show, finished with a bang, came out, kind of did a curtain call, little chest thumping so we could applaud each one. It was good.
Did a cover of a Bathory song.
Yeah. That
turned out really good. I think it was War. Yeah, right.
So
the same one that Burzum does. I will say, I thought John sang, but no, he doesn't sing. He just plays guitar, and then they have that skinny kid.
And he was great. And then we weren't sure about Wolves in the
Throne Room were never my band. I remember when they first came out, the whole atmospheric Metal from the Woods thing was kind of just getting started. We kind of slept on them, but wow, they have really turned. They won us over at the show, didn't they?
Yeah.
First of all, the drum kit wasn't ridiculous. I mean, Geddy Lee. Neil Peart would have been like, "Oh, that's too much." That's how huge. I don't think that the early bands had like 6 inches of space on stage, because the Wolves in the Throne Room kit was so huge.
And they
Yeah.
had all that background stuff, all the candles.
It was really
and,
something. I mean,
it looked like a throne room. It was amazing.
yeah, they really had a huge stage show for such a small club. Yeah.
And they do a thing with incense where they go and adorn the whole stage.
It really was the whole, and I get it now. I mean, they are not, Wolves in the Throne Room are not that's a cool riff kind of band. And Wolves in the Throne Room are we're going to take 12 minutes. And by the time we get to the 9th minute, you're like, holy shit. No, it's the build up. It's the build up. It's the psychedelia. It's the whole nature folklore thing. It's really well done. Yeah. I've been listening to them ever since the show.
It's
2 Hunters
truly-
is great. I've been
yeah.
really cranking that. Yeah.
But the only thing is, and I guess
Incense. Who does that?
The incense was great, but the way they kind of candle light the stage, I could have tripped over the lead singer after the show on my way to the bathroom and never known it because you never see their faces.
Yeah, they just want to be shadow figures.
Yeah.
It was really well done. Yeah.
So it's definitely
Recommend get out there and see all these bands are great together. Yeah, go out and see it. It was a wonderful night. We did not buy a single $17 beer.
Nope.
Because I can't afford it. So anyway, okay, so that was the Wolves in the Throne Room show coming to a town near you. So what else did you want to talk about?
Definitely, get out there and check them out.
Well, we're also going out of town this week for my work. So I had to book some hotels this week. And the one little town we're staying in down in Georgia, I thought, let's try to get a hotel in town. And I found it. And it had like 1 star and lots of ratings. So we did not book there. But let me just tell you, the reviews were fascinating. My car broke down, and this was the only place I could go. Walked into a scary room that immediately smelled like death and cigarettes. I think I'm going to sleep in my broken down car. Worst place ever. Staff was friendly. I love the way he turns it around at the end. How is the staff friendly if you're sleeping in your car? I'm so confused. Like I was with him until the end.
They're like, yeah, we're sorry. This place sucks. We know it sucks. We all suck. Have a great day.
Like the people peer out of the dumpster. Sorry. I mean,
there's always a thing. We actually stayed in a hotel once that had roaches and we immediately left. But this review said roaches were bad. Got out a can of roach spray and ended up using the whole thing. The bed was comfortable, but had to sleep with all the lights on and keep an eye on the roaches. Great value if you don't mind.
That's not a fun trip at all. Okay, yeah, here's the next one. The next one went into a full list. 1, no toilet paper or Kleenex. 2, did have a TV chained to the wall, but remote could not be found. Maybe they should have chained that to the wall too. 3, no shower curtain, but that was okay because there was no water pressure either. 4, stink bugs everywhere. 5, Wi-Fi password was I can see you. Creepy. Front desk clerk had a hook for a hand and didn't speak English. 7, I could hear things scurrying in the walls. Leaf blower went off at 6:30 a.m. Train roared through at 6:45. My watch died at 7:10. Number 8, homeless family grilling on a hibachi in the parking lot. It was either chicken or roadkill, possibly both. Number 9, the toaster and juice machine were broken at the Continental Breakfast, and the only cereals were Waffle-Os and Smurfberry Crunch, which I didn't know they made anymore. Coffee was great, but there was no cream or cups. About number 10.
Oh, this hotel had a lot of taxidermy going on, stuffed birds everywhere.
Sound familiar?
Nice front desk guy made me a sandwich and went on talking about his mother disapproving of sluts. So random.
They shake their heads and cluck their tongues and suggest they're so very delicately. Anyway.
Also, that's another one for you who haven't ever watched the original Psycho.
Gotta see Psycho. Actually, the first Psycho 2 is good too. We watched it together.
Yeah.
1 and 2 are both good. I don't know beyond that. I don't have good expectations. Staying with the creepy Halloween theme, how about you talk about your creepy copier repair guy that you encountered this week?
Every time, and I have literally, this has been the last 16, 17 years, he has serviced our copier literally forever.
That gross.
Sorry. He left and came back, and he is Norman Bates level weird. He comes in with a huge grin and says to me, well, how are you today? Great, I say. How have you been? And he gives absolutely no response. He just keeps grinning this jack-o'-lantern grin and rolls up on his toes and goes back and forth like he's got like some kind of rolling Tourette's.
Maybe he's a Jack in the Box. Boing.
And then after a few awkward moments of this, I say, man, those copies are in shambles. And he wants to show me, all the parts he cleaned and how he replaced and updated the software that was last updated. He had to prove it to me in 2018. I say. And then he's back to grinning and rocking until the phone rings and I can escape.
Maybe he's a jack-o'-lantern.
It's so weird. It's like he wants to say something, but he doesn't know what to say is kind of the vibe I get.
Mm.
But then in an odd twist, when he does make a comment, it's a creepy off-outfit comment. He's like, are you going to be wearing those nice fuzzy sweaters again now that it's getting colder?
Oh, how gauche.
Yeah.
That's gauche. Oh, dear.
It just makes you feel super uncomfortable. And I just pretend to call an insurance company until he leaves.
It would be better if he talked to the machines while he was repairing them. I think that would be even a next level.
Utter quietly over there, but I never get close enough
He's
to hear
taking
what
it
he's saying.
apart. What have they done to your rollers? I see flat spots forming. These people are animals. He's putting the toner in. Only the best toner for you, Stephanie. Open up wide. Here it comes. That's a good girl. I know you're unhappy here. I don't blame you. We're going to get you that cushy gig at the title company we talked about. Don't you worry.
We talked about this, Lucille. Color printing is just not your thing. No reason to be jealous of the others. Cyan is for the pretentious anyway.
Okay, shall we talk about our feature interview?
Our feature interview this week is with none other than Dawn of the Dead, the mainstay vocalist for Ohio's legendary band, Nunslaughter. It's a fascinating discussion spanning the band's seemingly endless discography of splits, EPs, and full-lengths, going all the way back to the late 1980s. We talk about the untimely passing of Jim Sadist, new releases from Nunslaughter coming soon, and play a witchy round of blaspheming monikers. So stay tuned for that.
Which guitarist was his Mart St. John from Kiss? You have to tune in and see. So let's play a song to kick things off from Nunslaughter's 2003 classic Goat. This is Raid the Convent. Okay, let's talk about Patreon.
Someone got me an air fryer for my birthday. And I think for my Patreon, I will share with you how I made amazing fried pickles.
Let's do it today. Can we do it today?
Yeah.
Let's do it today. So we might live stream the Great Beer Taste Test Part 2, but you definitely want to get over to patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcast because you really want to get this recipe for her incredible fried pickles. I'm craving them
That's
now.
a perfect dipping sauce, which
Yeah,
I
she
only
always does.
share with our Patreons.
She always does.
Plus, you get a lot of Mark's reviews, comments, and a lot of bonus extras.
And I'm listening to a lot of weird shit right now. So I think I might, shocking, right? I think I might throw up like a review of the first Yoko Ono album. There's an Ennio Morricone album that's kind of lost in the sands of time that I've been listening to. I'm going to do that. So again, tons of bonus content, every bit as good as the show that you were used to. $6.66 a month unlocks all of it. Okay, so this next segment I'm going to call Empathy for the Devil. Have you ever encountered? I know several people like this. I used to have a woman that worked for me that was like this. This is one of these people that an employee that I inherited. She was like, I was in my 30s. She was in her 50s. I wasn't teaching her nothing, right? But she was the sad sack that was always angling for sympathy. And I found the most irritating way to deal with these people is to never give them any. I'll give you an example. I'm going to be a little late on Tuesday, Mark. I'm afraid my cat Snooky Paws is getting surgery. So you just steadfastly say, well, the sales meeting doesn't start until 10:30, so we should be fine. They don't get a single nugget.
You
But
don't ask
they
what
want-
he's having surgery
They want
for.
the, oh, you poor thing. Don't give them any of that. Just keep it strictly business. Here's another one.
And then if they don't get that sympathy from you, they'll try to keep,
They'll escalate.
they'll give you more details. He keeps throwing up hairballs everywhere. I'm at my wit's end. And you can't engage. You just say, Okay, well, I'm going to grab another cup of coffee. You want anything?
I had to take my car into the shop again. Air conditioner went up. I don't know how I'm going to pay for that. You know, I see a lot of commuters on those scooter thingies.
What will happen
They have to up the
eventually?
game. They'll make it
Yeah.
worse and worse, more dramatic.
It's like they'll try to suck you in with something. They'll go to. I read an article in Scientific American that the Earth is basically on a collision course with the sun.
Well, I guess that means no more lugging those heavy sweaters around. And then their brain explodes. The end. So this dropped out of nowhere. I stopped the other day. It was 7 o'clock. I had just dropped you off of work. I stopped to get, it was Friday. I stopped to get stuff to make breakfast. And I stumbled upon a phenomenon. This is a job that I could never do. We're going to call it the grocery store team cheerleader. The manager had the employees in the back of the store. Okay. And it takes a certain personality to handle this job. Okay. You got to track everyone down who didn't call out sick and get them in a circle. There is no office. There is no privacy. Your conference area is actually right between the seafood counter and household cleaners. I managed people for over 10 years, and I can tell you there's no way I could ever be perky enough to handle this position, okay? Everyone's looking at their phones, mummering to themselves, mummering. Everyone's looking at their phones, not paying attention. Nobody wants to be there. Apparently, the cheerleader is high on espresso and a shot of sugar. Unfortunately, we were about 11% shy of our revenue goal this week, mainly due to Veronica's babysitter quitting and Don mislabeling the Little Debbie display. Oh, and that unfortunate fruit avalanche in produce. But these are just what, team? Learning experience. What was that? I can't hear you. Learning opportunities. Plus, we need to create one more madcap end cap excitement to ensure impulse buys of non-sale items. Who has any big ideas? People can't help acting on food. At that precise moment, a big burly woman rams into him with her cart. I can't find marshmallows. I'm sorry about that, young lady. You'll find the marshmallows 3 aisles down that way in number 14, right next to the lard and the gladware. Andre, why don't you show her where they are?
Okay, next item. We are only 41% to goal in the Canes for Cruises drive. We need those unwanted canes, walkers, and rollers. If we can get to 100%, it's a cheese pizza party time.
What if you're lactose intolerant?
Imitation cheese pizza time.
Okay. Yeah.
Plus, the employee that donates the most equipment qualifies for the cruise around the port of New Jersey.
That is the best part. It's time for the store cheer. Apples, toilet brushes, butter, and rice. We will not be underpriced. Turn that frown upside down because nobody does it better than Food Town.
Takes a hero to work stocking frozen food.
So he looks at his watch and he says, okay, I know Charlie's got broccoli to wash. Barb, the forklift is making that weird clunk noise again. Can you call the shop? Also, who's going to create some nifty shelf talkers? I can smell an employee of the month in this group. Speaking of which, Randy, the toilet in the men's room is backed up again. Can you take care of that? Also, the break room soda machine will give one lucky winner a free can of soda this week. It's only Diet Dr. Pepper, but that's still better than nothing, I would think. Meeting is adjourned, and then he's off to reload his Zoloft.
And Paxil.
There
and
are.
Xanax.
So next time you see a guy digging a ditch that looks like he's unhappy, there are worse jobs, I think. Yeah. So let's play a song from Nunslaughter.
This is one of my favorites. I was actually playing it around the office on Friday. This is from Hell's Unholy Fire. This is Nunslaughter with I Am Death.
Okay, let's talk about Home Chef.
Our sponsor this week is the lovely Home Chef. Now, if you are unfamiliar...
And Necro Soda.
And Necro Soda. You know that there are a lot of services out there that will deliver meals to your door. I have tried, well, let's
Based on your struggles at the grocery store today, we should do everything with Home Chef.
Yeah, lots of rude people at the grocery store today, and then I was almost run over.
Yeah.
These by far are the tastiest meals. They have basically changed the way I cook. I used to always use frozen vegetables and store-bought frozen French fries. Never again.
Store-bought Eye of Newt.
Everything is flavorful. They will teach you everything about the sauces. You can pick as many meals as you like. Anything over $60 ships for free to your front door. They're packed in ice. You get everything you need to make the meal. Step-by-step instructions with even pictures of the different steps if you get lost.
Just the right amount of monkey brains. We don't even have to freeze them anymore.
So you get your meat, you get your produce. There is no running to the store at the last minute because you forgot an ingredient. Everything's there for you. The only thing you have to provide is some olive oil and salt and pepper to taste. This week we got cheesy plantain tacos. I also, when you have a recipe like this, you can choose to sub in a meat. So I did some diced chicken thighs with this. We have a white wines, chicken scallopini with roasted zucchini and carrots. Nice, healthy meat and veg. Again, all your ingredients. And an Elio Styles pizza with lime cremora. Really tasty, tasty stuff.
What if you're lactose? Sorry.
So get over there, use our link. It will save you $20 off your first order. Say you don't want to get it every week, that's fine. Just say you want to skip a week. We usually get it twice a month. So enjoy, and I will continue to share with you the tips and tricks I have learned with Home Chef. There are many.
Okay, let's play the theme from Campfire.
Because streaming services are evil corporations that gatekeep bands from their fans and pay them pennies while collecting millions.
This is Campfire.
This week's Campfire focus is on Dodsford from Greece.
The Greeks are going mad.
The site is dodsfordofficial.bandcamp.com. Dodsford is the brainchild of one Nicholas Spagnakis, better known as Wrath.
That's why we call him Wrath.
Yeah. Dodsford were formed back in 2001, and at this point, Wrath, with a variety of different players, has cranked out 11 full-length albums, along with a ton of splits and EPs. Should mention bass player Neptunus has been with the band since 2009, and he's listed as an official member on Metal Archives.
So what do you say about Dodsford? Some of the most consistent, caustic vocals in black metal. Wrath handles guitar, vocals, and sometimes the bass. From the very beginning, you can tell he has studied his Burzum. The man can conjure some glorious fucking riffs. Plus, he may have Dagon from Inquisition beat in terms of lengthy song titles. Praying in vain under the shrine of your God. It's a mouthful. Or my favorite, you called it resurrection. I call it a fairy tale for humans parasites. Your kind. Just a couple examples there. It's cold and true to the genre, but he's not afraid to throw in a melodic guitar solo here and there. Plus, there's an air of anarchy, despondency. These aren't folk-infused songs about winter plains or seeing ghostly female figures in the woods. Wrath style is more like humans are cockroaches and they're not dying out fast enough. Lovely sentiments, I think you'll agree. But the tunes are amazing. Take 2007's Fucking Your Creation album. It's all power chords, tritones, and agony and disease was spread in a matter of seconds. Hammers away for over 10 minutes. I've got the attention span of a gnat, but these tracks they keep me riveted. No matter how long they have drone on, just enough noisy accompaniment, just enough subtle change to keep me hypnotized by this abrasive musical nightmare. But the tour de force is the final cut, just called Wrath. It goes the full hellhammer. No drums, just hellish screams of torment, like, I hate you, I hate jazz. And it's just set against some loose riff exploration and hissy noise over 7 minutes. Incredibly filthy. Good way to clear a room, too. So, why don't you introduce the song?
This song is And Disease Was Spread in a Matter of Seconds.
Okay, continuing on with Dodsford. You got it, Ben.
So let's talk about a later Dodsford's crusher, 2011, Spitting with Hatred, The Insignificance of Life. Again, his songs are lengthy, churning riff monsters with surprise changes and twists at every corner. Unthinkable stuff for basically a one-man band. There's some classic Bathory and new wave of British heavy metal lurking around that in the twisted mind of his. The drumming really drives these tracks and are essentially the glue that drives the whole thing. While the second voice is used to augment the lengthy text, give them an almost convergy vibe.
A gnarly bass intro to Your Kingdom Was Built on a Lie. Even hearing the bass in a black metal record is a huge step in the right direction. The greatest moment of the disc is the tribal bossa nova drum thing that he bursts out in the second half of the title track. We're going to play it for you in a minute. You can almost hear the purists shifting in their seats and murmuring amongst themselves. This man will change your opinion about black metal. If you've given up on it, thinking it was some weird foreign film with everyone clapping and gushing while you scratch your head, give Dodford a try. It's got riffs. So let's play this song I just introduced, Spitting with Hatred, The Insignificance of Life.
The time has come. Drum roll, please. This is our feature interview with Dawn of the Dead. You'll also like my attire, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Did it just for them. But we have a great chat. Don is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. And look forward to the new music that he talks about. Can't wait.
Take it away. Most of my mental scars are from years of Catholic school, so let me show you something that we do. Just to... Oh,
When he's back.
again, harder. Oh, thank you, sister. Can I have another?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I was just thinking. We had just kind of started out at as a podcast, and we were very kind of bad at coming up with TikToks or thinking up promotional things.
Right.
So we thought it was a really good idea at Maryland Death Fest to like do a TikTok like while the band was playing and try to like say who was playing and what. Let me tell you, the one we did in front of Nunslaughter, we could not even use. It was so loud.
Right.
So I don't know why we thought that was a good idea.
So we tried to do a TikTok of you playing behind us, but the audio was
It didn't work out.
didn't work out. Yeah, we were learning sound engineering.
And then we said, screw it, we're just going to enjoy the show.
Yeah.
And you were great.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
well,
was-
thank
that was
you.
My first time seeing you guys was at MDF a couple years ago. Yeah.
Oh.
So tell us what, I know you must be working on music. Let's start off with the obvious. What Nunslaughter goodies are in the hopper right now that you're working on?
We just finished a live split LP with Gaerea, and that should be out shortly. We're planning on recording another split with Fistula, another band here from Ohio.
I know that.
And then we're recording a couple of cover songs next week, along with 4 or 5 songs that we're demoing for the next album. So we're always working. A lot of things going on.
You know, and ever since we talked to Tim Green of the fucking Champs, and he was telling us that they were getting
Hate mail.
hate mail about their name.
Yeah.
But from some Karens who probably never even listened to their music. Have you ever gotten like some kind of weird
Hate
protest?
mail or yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had any actual outright protests, but I have a folder on my PC with hate emails that
Yes, I love it.
eventually at some point I'll do something with, but those were some of my favorites, especially when the people attacking Nunslaughter or me don't really know very much about either the music, or they can't spell, or it's difficult for them to write a complete sentence because they're so angry.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, no protests, but yeah, quite a few hate emails.
So you never had the Blackie Lawless where you're landing at the airport and it's a bunch of Mormons with picket signs. And down
No,
at Nunslaughter. You never
I
had that?
wish. Although sometimes on the marquee they change the name to None Slaughter or
Oh my god!
Oh my
Uh,
god.
Do you correct them? Do you go, hey, change that shit?
no, it doesn't bother me, but yeah.
We will not go on until that sort of thing. Yeah, but I mean, Blackie complains about that stuff. I'm like, dude, those stories are the best. I mean, what are you doing? He's like, it was such a dark time for the band.
Oh my god.
I'm like, yeah, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody else has stories like that. Come on.
Yeah, and
Right.
any press is
Well, he went
Any
he
precious
went uber religious recently, or whatever, a
Mhm.
decade ago, something.
I
So
know he's one, and then you know who else? I forget that Mustaine went uber religious, and I'll start
yeah,
watching like a clip with him, and then he'll break into the Jesus talk, and I'm like, oh god,
it's painful.
terrible.
yeah, it's sad.
Another fallen soldier from Satan's army. No, it's terrible. So. Yeah, I was at I think Ollie's, and they had Dave Ellison's book. This is like 5 years ago, and I hadn't been following. I was going to buy it. It was like $5, and I saw it was all religious shit, and I was like, oh no.
Wow.
They've all kind of, it's rehab that does that. Rehab kind of.
Yeah, well, part of rehab is they put in religion, and it sinks
Like the last
somebody's
step or
side.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I guess after he went through rehab 16 times, some of it stuck on mistake.
Exactly.
Anyway,
So I think I might have the world record for the most splits ever.
yeah.
In fact, we had one out on the show the other day. Do you have a most memorable or favorite one, or is there one split that was brought up to you that you would not do?
Well, I don't do any splits with bands that I don't respect. And we do like to do splits with bands that are not always the same type of music. We've done grind and punk splits, as well as death metal and thrash metal splits. So it's more about either the band or the people in the band that makes me want to do a split with them. And then if we're able to reach a slightly different audience with that band, I like to do those. But there's a few bands out there I'm still looking to do splits with that we'll see if they ever come around.
I was looking through. I mean, you've done. It's very varied. I mean, Sloth to Lurking Corpse to even Grand Belial's Key. I mean, it's very Black Death, Stoner. You guys are pretty diverse with your choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a question about one of them. I really like. What was it? All right, so you're split with Grand Belial's Key that you did a few years ago. Great cover of Venom's Hell Child. Okay, now obviously Venom was a huge influence on you guys.
Oh yeah.
But you have always kind of kept that thread of humor in your style of your music. Venom did not. Do you think that they were too serious and that was their downfall? What do you think?
No, I think that for me, what I liked with Venom was that they were so over the top and with a lot of their lyrics overtly satanic that I think that even as a kid, it's difficult to take them as serious. And after meeting a couple of guys from Venom, they're nice guys. It was just a topic to sing about, and but Kronos and Venom's lyrics are some of the best in black metal or death metal or whatever you want to call it. So I think that because they were so over the top is what gave them the kind of a tongue in cheek, just for me. But yeah.
Just thinking of like, remember Ultimate Revenge, the
Mhm.
VHS when Slayer they were all like real skinny, and Exodus was, just tearing it up. And then Venom had to have they had the smoke machine, and theirs was a production. And I just thought, well, maybe they started to believe some of their own hype around 85, 86, maybe that was the down.
Maybe. I mean, I personally think they should be kings of the underground, but because after they kind of split, they went Venom Inc. and Cronus does Venom.
Yeah.
It kind of weakened both camps rather than
Camps, right. I
make it
agree.
stronger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I loved when Cronus came out with that album. Was it Sleeping in the Fire that had the Thin Lizzy cover on it and all? I was like, yes, now we're talking. Now we got a
Yeah.
little bit of humor. Now we're not taking ourselves so fucking seriously. I mean, come on, but anyway, no one else liked that album but me, apparently. So
Yeah, I always thought, Nunslaughter comes off a little more memorable because not only is the music great, but
Mhm.
you end up making us smile. So, in that way, it kind of sticks with you.
yeah, I mean, especially when
So
we're performing live, we really enjoy being in front of people and talking story and let people hear the lyrics. That's one of the main things that I like to make sure that I articulate what I'm saying. And I try not to mumble the words so that people actually hear what I'm saying. Because a lot of it, it's somewhat poetic, the way I try to deliver the lyrics.
yeah. Well, I agree. Question for you. I've always want to know, is there something with Hell's Headbangers beyond just label band relationship? Because you have so much merch on there and so many releases through them. It's like I just have always wondered, is it just that you like the label, or is there more to it than that?
I do like the label. It boiled down to when there's three brothers that run the label, and whenever they started, they consulted myself and our drummer Jim, who passed away, an awful lot, and Jim, myself a little bit, but Jim more so, kind of held their hand through um, pressing the first CD, pressing the first record, and pressing the first 7-inch for them. And then he gave them a lot of contacts. And from there, kind of, they kind of took the ball and ran with it. But yeah, they're all three of them are very good friends with, and it just makes it easy for me as well. If I've got a problem or an issue, or if we want to discuss the next release or a re-release, how we're going to tweak it, I just pick up the phone and call someone, or just drive down there. They're only about 40 minutes away from me, so I can just go to the
I
warehouse.
figured it was something like that. I figured it was
Yeah.
something like that because it's just you have pages and pages of T-shirts with them alone. And I thought you were going to say, well, I drive trucks for them on the weekend or something. I don't know.
No, I have worked there, but that was like 10, 12 years ago. I worked for them.
Mhm. Okay, gotcha. Right, that makes sense too.
I love your new stuff on the Metal Mistress with the crop tops with that red with the color
Yeah.
running death cover. Oh my god, I think I have to have
I'm
one.
I'm anxious to see them. She contacted me a little while ago about producing some products for the ladies of metal, and I said sure. And what she designed was fantastic. So yeah, I hope it does well for her, and I hope to see some metal ladies out there wearing some Nunslaughter gear.
There you go. Yeah. Now you guys have a lot of live EPs. Do you record every show, or like why are there so many?
It started off, I was recording not only every show, but almost every practice. And
Wow.
it it was kind of a way to I guess gauge or hear what we sounded like once we got the recordings home. And then so many labels started asking for releases. We didn't have the time or the money or the inclination to go in and record new material every time. So I was like, do you want to do a live split? and we were fortunate enough that they took us up on that. So yeah, there's a lot of live material Nunslaughter out there. Quite a bit of it is on vinyl, and quite a bit of it is poorly played and and uh, poorly recorded. But I like that about the live material. It's full of all the warts and scars and ugliness.
It's genuine, right? Yeah.
So, of course, being around as long as you have, you've had a lot of lineup changes over the year. Can you think of someone who maybe had the shortest tenure? Was there like a pet peeve and you were like,
You don't have to name any names, just the stories.
Yeah, no, we actually and there was a fella in the band. I thought he was a great fit. His name was Tony, and he recorded, I think, our split with Hemorrhage, and it was one other split. I think we did 5 or 6 songs all at one time together with him. And then as quickly as he showed up, he was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he was done. And for the life of me, I can't remember his last name, but he was in the band for, it couldn't have been more than 2 months. And we recorded 2 records with him, and then he left. So
He was your Mark St. John, your Kiss Mark
yeah,
St. John.
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it had to be the most horrible thing had to be losing Jim in 2015. I mean, was there a moment when you thought, I don't know if I can,
Carry on,
continue?
right.
Well, after losing Jim, I kind of, if the people that knew Jim would know that he would have wanted the band to continue. He wasn't the original drummer, but he was in the band for I think about 18 years, and he was a prolific songwriter. So much so that when he did get into the band, he and I butted heads a lot because he wanted to take over the songwriting duties, and I didn't want to relinquish those reins. And so we fought a lot about that, but he proved himself over and over. And probably about 4 or 5 years before Jim passed, he and I had a conversation about him continuing the band if I died. And I live a sketchy lifestyle. So I told him, I said, no, I said, please, I said, when I'm dead, I said, just let the band die. And he's like, are you sure? I said, yeah, that's what I want. So, I know that he wanted to go on. It wasn't a difficult choice. It was a difficult task. But yeah, I think he'd be happy and proud of what we continue to do.
Did you threaten to haunt his ass? I will haunt your ass.
No, but yeah, I think about him every day. The anniversary of his passing is coming up here, October 7th, and we're playing a show on that date as well.
That's awesome. So I noticed between like your full lengths, it's always 7 years. Is that by design, or you're like, all right, 7 years, I got to do a full length?
No, it just has to do with time. There's only so many hours a day, and if we're playing a lot of shows, you're practicing for those shows, and when you're in writing mode, Jim and I were doing a lot of split 7-inches, so we'd write 2 or 4 songs, record them, put them out on a split, and then go back to rehearsing and playing live shows. And we did that for many years. And now I think Red is the Color Ripping Death came out, I think 2 years ago. And we're on pace to put out an album next year. So it'll only be 3 years.
Okay, there you go. I thought you were doing like the SIGHFIGHS. You know, how the hell do they calculate that out? Anyway.
Yeah, I love, like you said, the way your lyrics kind of rhyme. It reads like satanic poetry, like rotting body of Christ, speaking in strange tongues, dying among the dead, the strong eat the young, evenings of the master, carried on the wings of death, consume the Holy Trinity, satanic to the last breath. Do you plan like that out? It's like satanic Dr. Seuss. I love it.
Thanks. It's becoming increasingly difficult to come up with new rhyme schemes. I mean, when I me personally, when I have difficulty trying to think of the way that I want the lyrics to go, or how the lyrics should go, my fallback is Ronnie James Dio. I go back and I listen to virtually anything he's ever written, and you can find different rhyme schemes, how he put words together, and I get a lot of inspiration out of Ronnie.
Mark used to write Seussicles for our one show, like kind of doing like an ironical thing on some news story out there. But we've recently graduated to doing more weirdnesses.
We're doing a Seussical for.
Are we doing a
show.
Seussical? We might be doing one. And,
Like I would find out that like Nickelback has a documentary, so I'd write like a Dr. Seuss style poem about making fun of it or something. So,
and last time we premiered sock puppets.
yeah,
So yeah,
we're all over the place.
so those,
Yeah.
we don't know why. always into different stuff.
New content, yeah.
So, but I love that shirt because I love the color of red is color of ripping death. I love it. Who did the goat with the decapitation and he's eviscerating while he's still holding her boobs? So see, that's the humor part there.
Yeah, it was a Chinese artist that I found on Instagram, and we threw a couple of ideas back and forth, and he actually wanted to go with Michelangelo sculpture as the inspiration for how the graphics are laid out, and I thought it was a very good idea. And so when he sent me the first couple of sketches, I said, yeah, let's run with that. So I have to give him all of the credit. I just gave him the title of the album and told him what I'd like to see, and he developed the whole piece of art himself.
That's great.
Yeah, it's perfect down to the goat's rectangular pupils. I always love that about that. Oh yeah.
Okay, so we play a game on the show. Are you ready to play a game?
Sure.
Okay. The game is called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay. So I have 5 band names in front of me. One of them is made up. One of them is fake. I'm going to read them to you, and I want you to tell me which one you think is fake.
Okay.
This is right out of the Metal Archives random band generator.
And he'll repeat them.
Yeah, I'll repeat them. We'll just go through them until you get it right or I run out of band names. So, okay, band number 1, Witch Chapel. Band number 2, Black Witch Pudding. You're seeing there's a theme here. Band number 3, Buffalo Witch. Band number 4, Jizz Witch. And band number 5, Witch Smeller Pursuivant.
Black Witch Pudding, the second one.
No, they're actually a stoner band from Portland. They have one 2013 album.
I'm unfamiliar with them.
Maybe they were inspired by
The
Figgy
entire
Pudding.
world is unfamiliar with them.
Hmm.
All right, so that leaves Witch Chapel, Buffalo Witch, Jizz Witch, and Witch Smeller Pursuivant.
What was the last one?
Witch Smeller Pursuivant.
I'm gonna have to go with Witch Smeller Pursuivant.
No, they're real. I actually have one of their albums. They're from Belgium. They're like kind of like traditional doom metal. They have 3 albums. Yeah, they're the toast of Belgium, I think.
Huh.
So that leaves Jizz Witch, Buffalo Witch, and Witch Chapel.
Buffalo Witch?
No, they're a stoner band from Grand Rapids. They have 2 full lengths. Yeah.
See, this is stoner metal. I know very little about. So I haven't
Apparently
I
they're
haven't-
into witches.
They're into witches. I
Yeah.
wanted to make a band called Get Off My Sandwich. I thought that would be great, but that's too
Ah.
obvious. Yeah. I'll tell you, the one I made up was Witch Chapel. Yeah. Which
Really?
sounds like it's real. Yeah. Yeah,
It
Jizz
does.
Witch is
That
real.
would
They're
have been
from
my
the
last
Netherlands.
choice.
Yeah. I've gotten better at this over the years. Like we did one of these with John from Incantation, and I had made up a band called Pilsner. What was it? Pilsner
Pilsner Wolf.
Wolf. And he sniffed it out right away. He goes, "That's not real." I was like, "All right, I got to up my game." Anyway, so yeah, that was blaspheming monikers. Yeah. Some of these names that come up, you're like, "What are you thinking?" Ugh.
Like Mark always
Well,
says, he
I'm
thinks,
always
it's
surprised
like
when-
you name.
I'm just going to say that I'm always surprised that with new bands or current bands that come up with a band name that is easily searchable on Metal Archives, and you're like, why did you name your band that? There's 7 other bands called that in the world. Like, why would you name
Right.
It's so easy nowadays to find out if there's another band called
Confirm.
your name. Like, just
Right.
why would you do that?
I know it. And there's two things that irk me. Well, one that irks me and one that I kind of like. It irks me when it's like, well, we took 5 minutes to come up with this name. I mean, really, it's your band name. Why are you just picking the most obvious thing? But the thing that I kind of like, I like when their band picture on Metal Archives, everybody dressed up except one guy. I love that. When it's like, I guess we got to take the picture now, Frank. Everybody else is all corpse paint. And Frank's wearing like a Louisville Slugger shirt or something, or a sports jersey.
Nunslaughter's got a few of those band pictures like that. It wasn't me.
I have not seen that, but I guess it comes with the territory, right?
Don't feel bad. I had a picture in my high school yearbook where it was the track team and somebody forgot to bring their uniform. So I'm on a Great Adventure t-shirt. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, if you think about it, one of the best examples of that, the most Spinal Tap cover is Black Sabbath Sabotage, where Iommi is sitting down and they're in front of that mirror and Ozzy's dressed up and they're all wearing different outfits. I mean, that album cover should have never been.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that, I'm like dying to know, like, what happened? I mean, Ozzy's got like clogs on. Iommi's not standing up, and Geezer's got those tight red pants on. It's like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah. The
Like,
spandex or whatever it
you know
was then.
something
Yeah.
happened. Oh, that's my favorite.
So, have you ever had a band write to you or come up to you and say, you guys were such an inspiration as far as like our band and starting off the tenets of devil metal for us, or has that ever happened
I'm
with?
sure that has happened.
Yeah, I know that's happened. I can't think of there were 2 guys from separate bands, different countries and everything, that came up to me and said that. I don't recall what they said their band was at this time, but yeah, it's pretty it's touching, somebody heard your band and says, I'm gonna make something like that, because there's a lot of people out there that I'm sure heard Black Sabbath and was like, we got to start a metal band, and so they inspired a lot of folks. Yeah.
Have you ever played with a band that you thought was going to get really big that just didn't?
Or you
No,
played with a
nothing.
band that you thought was rubbish and they blew up.
Oh, there's quite a few of those. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't want to name any names, but oh yeah, there's a lot of those. Like what are they?
I hear that. I hear
doing
that.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. You're like, these guys have no chance. Next thing you know, they're all over Spotify. Right?
So, has your songwriting process changed over the years? Did you start with lyrics or music, or does it depend on what you're working on?
Very early on, it was more about I would sit at home and write the lyrics, and the other guys would come up with some riffs, and then when we got together, we try to make it fit. And then by the third demo, I was kind of on my own, so I would most of the time I would write the lyrics first, and then come up with music that fit the lyrics, and then that happened up until probably about 99 or 2000, and that's about the time that Jim took over writing a lot of the music, and it was he would just he wrote so much music that I couldn't keep up with writing lyrics, and I never got ahead of him writing music, and he would get a little bit petulant whenever I would come down with actual music and lyrics. He never wanted to play those songs, so but eventually I wore him down.
There you go. They say that tension is so important in the creative process, but I know it can be a pain in the ass too. You know.
Oh, we had a lot of tension. Yeah, there was a lot of tension.
That's a nice way of putting it, right?
But yeah, well, I mean, we we fought almost like brothers. I kind of always felt that he had my back, and I hope vice versa. He always knew I'd have his back as well. But yeah, that it made for a lot of tension. Past band members have quit because of how toxic of a environment it was when we would practice together. Jim and I would fight. We'd hold grudges. Just it's like having a brother or a sister. You just just give them grief.
Did you ever watch or see like another band talking about, their kind of their issues and think those guys don't get along? Like, were you able to spot it after a while in other like larger bands, like the Van Halen thing or whatever?
Yeah, but those were I guess real overt acts. Punching somebody, shoving somebody, breaking somebody's shit.
Wow.
Jim and I seem to put on, especially on stage, a very different attitude. Like a lot of people were surprised or are surprised to find out that how much we fought because of the chemistry that we had on stage. That never came. And again, it's like one of those things. We could be bickering with each other just as we're walking up on stage. You motherfucker, I fucking hate you, motherfucker. And then it's like, hello, everybody,
Right.
and then game on, and we were just and then we'd play a show together, and you get off stage, and the fight was over, and it was just because we just got to blow off steam some way.
That's how it was with Filthy and Fast Eddie. Like Lemmy says in his book that they were fist fighting up until it was time to walk on stage, and he would be like, and they would go on stage and they would play. And then, like he said, if you look close, there's actually footage sometimes where Fast Eddie would kick him off the stage, and then they'd go right back into fighting again. I mean, just fist fighting every possible minute. I mean, it's. I guess again, they set the template for all of us, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say, I when we interviewed Kix, I had to ask them, was there a real, Rosie, or was that a real person?
Rosie character.
So, but with you guys, I was like, was there really a naughty woman that's inspired like Satanic Slut into a horror, or is it just kind of a compilation?
Is it some old non-school teacher, possibly?
Well, Satanic Slut. I wrote that probably I wrote the lyrics about 4 or 5 years before the music was ever written, and it was just sitting in my my folder. And once when Jim played the music at practice, I was almost like, it's like, I got this song I've been waiting to play, or waiting to use, and that really kind of fit in. And that was not really about anyone in particular. Yeah, Two Horrors is about a particular individual, and but I'll leave them out of it. And
Yeah.
I thought it
We'll
actually
just
I thought
pretend
that
it was the Kardashians.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah.
I thought that song turned out pretty good. I thought it was a good follow up for
That's
Satanic Slut.
Yeah.
So what do you guys have coming up? I know you've got the Metal Immortal Festival in PA, is it coming up?
We played that last week.
How was that?
It was fantastic. We got to play with some of our good friends in Midnight and Black Knife, and Spider was there, and Pillars, and yeah, it was a fantastic show. We have it's a CD release party for friends of ours down in Canton coming up on October 7th. But then our next two we're doing Midnight is having a 20-year show event here in Cleveland, and it's all Cleveland bands that is playing that one, and that's somewhere towards the end of October 27th or something like that. And then the next day we're playing New Jersey. It's a fest called Spooky Fest, and lots of bands on that one as well. Yeah, I think those are the only three shows I think we got for the year. Working on some tour stuff. We'll see if that pans out or not.
Speaking of shows, I
Great.
can't recommend the Cavalera enough. I mean, wow. I mean, I don't know how they did it, because that they're incredible musicians, but they sounded like they had that kind of manic guitar, like strangling guitar from like 1983. Like they bring that to the show because they're just playing the Morbid Visions stuff. I don't know how he managed to do it. I mean, it's all blasting, and it's wow. They really kept the spirit of Brazilian kind of black metal. It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't I haven't seen him on this tour. I probably won't. I was surprised that I actually did like the re-recordings. From what I understand, they've also
I usually hate that. Yeah.
They also recorded Schizophrenia, and that's going to be something that's supposed to do next year on tour. But it kind of makes me wonder why they gave up that style of music and went more like Soul Flights and stuff, which isn't quite as evil.
No, definitely not. But the encore is. I told Stace I never thought I would hear "Escape to the Void" live, and they played it. And I was like, yeah. I thought
like,
that
you
was
could
just
smell the evil.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I can smell sulfur. This is so great. Yeah. So
Oh, so they don't just do stuff from the first EP and first album. They
do. That's their set. But then they came out and they did like Refuse Resist. They did a handful, and they did 3 or 4 songs from Schizophrenia. So
I got you.
And there was a couple times that they backed into like a harmony, and I was like, aha, you guys know how to play smooth, but they just chose not to. And they've got Igor's doing the Skull Crusher. That's he's Igor Skull Crusher. Like, it's totally 1983 all over again. It's really well done. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys have like your favorite bands that you love to play with?
Yeah. I guess Midnight might be one. Of them.
Yeah.
Actually, Midnight's one of my favorite bands to play with because they do have a lot of energy. And then the other another band great to play with is Spider out of Philadelphia.
We
A
saw
lot,
them
lot
with
of energy.
Midnight.
Yeah, and they did a tour with Midnight as well. But yeah, those are the first two that come to mind. Just because they have a lot of energy on stage. Sometimes bands don't live up to the music that they've recorded simply because sometimes it's so technical they can't enjoy themselves on stage, or let's face it, a lot of them are just obese and sluggish, and they just or drunk. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, those two bands are great.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get you back out for another Maryland Death Fest at some point, or
Or,
Hell
or
in the Harbor.
just the Baltimore show. We'll be there. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully, if we do some of these tours that we're looking into, we'll be out on the East Coast and the West Coast later this year or early next year. But nothing's set in stone, so we'll see how that pans out.
Well, in Baltimore, they're doing this year. Or in 2024, they're going to do the rescheduled MDF, and then they had this new thing called Hell in the Harbor. It's a few weeks apart, but I'm curious to see, can Baltimore handle two huge extreme metal festivals? Because this is the first year they're going to try to do both. So we shall see.
Yeah, I know last year was also that Hell in the Harbor, and people said it went off very well. So
It went well.
I don't know. And then there's also
It
the
was-
Milwaukee Metal Fest happening. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
We're not normally invited to fests, so
We'll see what we can do about that.
Yeah.
But you know,
Appreciate
it's just like the only complaint I had about Hell in the Harbor was they would have like an inside stage and an outside stage, and sometimes the shows would overlap, and I'd be like, all right, I really want to see Inner Arbor, but I really want to see Pig Destroyer, so we're gonna have to like do halvesies. You know, it's tough.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
wouldn't want to
Yeah.
be the kind of baby band that's playing inside while Napalm Death's playing outside. It doesn't seem fair, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, Napalm Death's going to draw a majority of people. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
But-
and maybe they just,
we
if
snuck
this
into
was
the
their
baby
first
band.
one, or last year was their first one, maybe it'll be organized a little bit better for the up and coming year.
Yeah, because I remember MDF 10 years ago, they had it like clockwork. Like
Yeah.
nobody started until this one was done. Like, because it was
It's
like,
good.
yeah, it was like they had, because I remember they had Mortuary Drape inside and they had St. Vitus outside, and Mortuary Drape like played the last chord, and then St. Vitus started up. So that was a lot tighter. Hopefully we'll get back to that, you know.
Yeah, the first year we played, we were outside near the bridge or whatever it was called, and as soon as we finished, everybody kind of turned around and walked the other way and watched Cyanide play. And it was like it was that way
Right.
all day.
So it can
you
be
know? I
done.
thought it was great.
It can be done. It can be. It just takes somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
We can't wait for new music sooner than 7 years. I'm so excited.
Thanks.
How weird is the 7-year thing? Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Mm.
And hopefully we'll catch you live once again, although we won't try to talk over you this time.
I appreciate it.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much.
The sounds of decay!
Okay, Sounds of Decay 1 is Autopsy's new album, Ashes, Organs, Blood, and Crypts, which drops October 27th of this year. Since their reformation in 2010, Autopsy have been the bacon cheeseburger of death metal, basically. Not too fancy, very meaty, and reliably delicious. For their latest outing, Ashes, Organ, Blood, and Crypts, Chris Reifert and company deliver all of the depravity that we've come to expect. Filthy screams and guttural burps from Reifert's describing infected sores, clotting fluids, and slimy maggots. While the production may have evolved slightly from those delightfully swampy early records, the harmonized Eastern-tinged guitar segments that sound like holdovers from Death's landmark Scream Bloody Gore album are present in every track, and the band's knack for shifting from rocketing gallop to tar pit crawl is undiminished. Not to mention the zombie-obsessed artwork is always a horrific delight.
The guitar solos of Cutler and Corrales have definitely improved from the early days. Take the opener, Rabid Funeral, which features a right-ripping lead in the faster segment and a surprisingly lyrical, lengthy solo at the end of the track. Well of Entrails visits that nasty, depraved, doomy lurch for which the band is known. Perhaps the filthiest cut on the disc, taking off on a high-speed gallop at the midpoint. The speedballs are particularly biting this time. Cuts like the gloriously titled Toxic Death Fuck and Throat Saw, one of my favorites, getting an eyebrow-raising number of listens in our household.
2023 is proving to be an impressive year for American old-school death metal. With the latest Autopsy, it belongs alongside other cheeseburgers from Incantation, Cannibal, Obituary, and others. Long live Autopsy. This is Throat Saw. Sounds of Decay 2 is Blood Incantation's new EP, Luminescent Bridge.
A lot of shows today.
Denver's tech death stalwarts, Blood Incantation, sent the metal populace into a blanket-clutching, thumb-sucking tizzy last year by following up 2019's celebrated The Hidden History of the Human Race with a 40-minute EP of Tangerine Dream-styled ambient tunes. The link between krautrock and metal is well documented, and I can take some Klaus Schultz as much as the next guy. But I was really impressed when I heard an interview with Paul Riedel from Blood Incantation. Riedel? Anyway. In an interview, he describes that the band had planned all this out from the very beginning. Music and artwork, from Starspawn to Hidden History to the ambient EP, Time Wave Zero. It made me respect the moniker even more.
However, there was a palpable sense of uneasiness when Blood Incantation announced this new EP, Luminescent Bridge. The metalheads were chain-smoking, nail-biting, butt-cheek clenching. Was this going to be another 40 minutes of music for my next massage? Or will they return to their tech death style? Or would it be something even weirder?
Well, rest assured, these songs are excellent. Obliquity of the Ecliptic, I got that right, is a 9-minute keeper in the style of The Hidden History of the Human Race. With those trademark herky-jerky incantation harmonic squeals, the combination of talky and growled vocals, and soaring semi-psychedelic leads from Riedel and Morris Kalinerski. The track starts moving in and out of spacey, clean guitar jangles around the midpoint, but it definitely is up there with Blood Incantation's best. Now, the second song isn't ambient, but it's more like a Porcupine Tree song. Luminescent Bridge isn't death metal, but it does offer nearly 10 minutes of icy Floydish guitar, swishy through the wormhole effects, and majestic guitar solos. Another new plane for Blood Incantation to conquer? Perhaps. So why don't you introduce the song, if you can pronounce it?
This is Obliquity of the Ecliptic. Sounds of Decay 3. Really loving these guys.
These guys won the prize this week. Yeah.
This is Moonlight Sorcery with the Horned Lord of the Thorned Castle. They made quite a use of that castle in that video.
Me so horny.
5 years, 2 EPs, and a handful of singles from this Finnish trio have paved the way for one of the most exciting full-length debuts of 2023. Musically, this band is astounding, from the riffs to the drumming to the thrilling guitar solos to the uber-orthodox vocal rasp and dang frosty nature of the whole affair. This band can write songs. The close-up approximation I can make is a combination of dissection-sharp, melodic black metal swirled with the melodic sensibilities of the best European power metal like Halloween or Angra. Or you could think early Children of Bodom, if that's easier. If a combination like that sounds even remotely interesting to you, hello, why wouldn't it? Then make your way over to Horned Lords of the Thorn Castle. Is a necessity, not a suggestion.
I love everything about this album, from the artwork to the lyrics to the rich, full production job. It's mixed and mastered by Don Swano. So many jaw-dropping moments, but we'll start with the head-turning riffs that kick off The Secret of Streaming Blood. The combination of that riff and the deft drumming is an instant attention crammer. There's an air of mystery as to who's actually playing the drums. 3 drum producers are listed, but no actual drummer, at least on the album. The triumphantly titled instrumental, The Moonlit Dance of the Twisted Jester's Blood-Soaked Rituals, may be the strongest track on the album, with hard-charging pace, 80s-informed keyboard arrangement, and masterful old-school guitar solos, all of which are sculpted with a tangible beginning, middle, and end. But the one that's really kicking my ass right now is called Jan Stilma, I believe. It's a gorgeous layered guitar synth intro that slams into pomp-frosted galloping, capable of generating a shit-eating grin from even the dourest of emperor snobs.
This would be an album that would be impressive by a veteran outfit, but as a debut, it's extraordinary. Now, all they have to do is get themselves a drummer.
You found the session guy, right?
We did verify. They had kind of on their Instagram page this vague guy drumming. He was behind the kit. You couldn't even see him except for the sticks moving.
I don't think he's credited on the record though.
So if you click on it, it's credited to a session drummer is what he calls himself. So hopefully they can get a touring drummer and get this show on the road.
Maybe we get the Smolder folks to put out an ad, get him a drummer.
So yeah, because I noticed a lot of people were asking if they were going to be on the road, and they were kind of like, "What we hope." So.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's play one with vocals. This is The Secret of Streaming Blood. Ah, that went quick. We burned right through that one, didn't we? Just a second ago, we were talking about the Wolves in the Throne Room show. Now we're done. So.
And
a lot of talking about long song titles today.
yeah, lots of long song titles. Lots of good songs, though.
Yeah, lots of really good. Yeah. We talked about never giving the drama, the Debbie Downers never addressing their issue. No sympathy. Yeah. We talked about Food Town. We love Food Town. What else we talking?
Terrible. We talked about how I won't be mothballing my nun outfit.
Good point. What'd you think? When she's sexy in that nun outfit? I know Dom was impressed. Yeah.
Either that or just thought we were nuts, but either way, he's probably accurate.
I felt bad for him at the end of blaspheming monikers. He was a D-. Poor guy. So, wasn't in a very witchy mood.
Well, we have to get them out to a show soon.
I'm sure they'll be around.
And we may be going to do Incantation soon. So
That's true. Yeah. So
exciting
Another-
stuff.
another top-notch concert review coming from Mark and Stace. This has been the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Special thanks to Don from Nunslaughter for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme by Gustav Jord of Defleshed. Sounds of Decay theme by Steve Rathbone of Lair of the Minotaur. Season 3 artwork by KC Angel. Decay bands, check them out. Autopsy, Moonlight Sorcery, and Blood Incantation. All content 2023, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Oh my. Okay.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.